Hi, I'm Rob Kerr. I'm the Director of Kerr Partners and previously had a series of roles in the earthquake recovery. I was quite lucky in the September earthquake in that my house wasn't affected and so on, but in the February earthquake which followed, my house was quite damaged and we had all sorts of liquefaction all around our property. My wife was out on that day out west of Christchurch and was stuck in traffic trying to get back in, but also my young child, he went through the earthquakes. He was at a school which is right almost at the epicenter of the earthquake, and so one of the everlasting memories that I have of that day was the separation of my family and the inability for us actually to connect back together. So we had one phone call and then the lines were jammed the rest of the day. And I think this is a common experience for everybody around the city, is that we lost contact. The difference between the September 2010 earthquake and the February 2011 really was around that loss of life. That was the thing. We almost felt like after the September earthquake, we got away with it. We got away without anybody losing their life. And then those terrible things that happened in the city here and the CTV at PGC and the other places where people died were a huge shock, not only because of that loss of life, but I think it was a wake-up call for the city as well. And then when you add the 180,000 houses damaged, 1,900 buildings in the CBD, we realised actually this was bigger. I think that also changed our whole mindset. The memorial here behind me is the memorial to the earthquakes, to the 185 people that were lost, to all those that were injured, but really to this whole experience. I was lucky enough to be able to really be involved and lead the development of this memorial, because that was part of my healing as well. And I think for me and my team who worked on this, it was a really important journey for us, working with the families, working with everybody else. At the end of it, there was a sense of completion, of all the projects, and that's why we're standing here today. This is probably for me the most important, but for a lot of people the most important, because it's the place where we can actually remember. But also I was involved in leading the development of the Te Papa o Tākaro, the Avon River Precinct, an accessible city, which is a lot of the road works around, the East Frame and the Margaret Mahi family playground. So we had a big portfolio of projects to deliver. The role of these anchor projects, the role of any public projects are really to provide a platform for others to leverage on. This is still, I think, the most exciting place in New Zealand to be working, because everything we're doing is new and evolving. And that's not only in the central city, and of course there's the residential red zone as well, which is one of the last big projects that I've worked on in terms of the regeneration planning for that. The potential is endless. And what are the other technologies that we can use as engineers to help that side of the city, that east side of the city, regenerate with its anchor project, the red zone? The earthquake has changed the profession in all sorts of ways. Obviously, we've learned a tremendous amount. There's another really important role that we have to play in terms of that leadership role and that connection with the other parts of our community, because in the end, infrastructure or what we build is only a service to those things. And I think the more we're able to connect and more we're able to understand and work with those other sectors in our community, the better we're able to do our job, and the more resilient we're going to be when these disasters strike in the future. People talk about the rebuild, and that's a physical thing, and it's very, really important. And whether it's rebuilding the pipes or the buildings or the houses or all those sort of things, but the rebuild is not the recovery. The recovery is an entirely different thing. The recovery is a psycho-social thing. A really important thing that I've learned, and I think a lot of us has learned, is better ways that we can help engineer and deliver projects, and how we use our skills and our roles to support those bigger outcomes.